Disneyland Paris was opened in 1992, April 12th, and was originally faced many challenges upon its inception. The theme park was Americanized and failed to understand the market it was entering. The Imagineers of Disneyland did not adapt the unique selling propositions to ensure that the theme park met the needs of the European demographic.
Admission prices and expensive food and merchandise was not an attractive look, and it took the park 4 years to cover a 33% increase in visitors at the park. Of equal relevance, it is the fact that by the year 1996, 40% of the visitors were from France, half of whom were from the Paris area. When EuroDisney was introduced, it was marketed as a complete vacation package aimed at long-stay visitors. However, Disney did not consider the fact that French visitors would only visit the park for a family day outing or a one-night stay at most. It was evident that the international European outfit did not look good on Disney. Disney's USP is its unquantifiable magic created by decades of first-rate customer service, special parades, and attention to detail like no other theme park on Earth. From design visuals to phone reps and staff at the park itself, the experience is always professional, friendly, and family-focused. The promise of magic and excellence is always fulfilled, without exception.
A partial requirement for implementing such a large-scale entertainment scheme is to create economic growth and diversify job types and the amount of jobs upheld by certain governments. This idea was implemented not only through the completion of Disneyland, but by placing its European resort in the French new town of Marne-la-Vallée. Because it is centrally located relative to a market of 310 million potential visitors. The French government sought to anchor this circuit of cultural capital in L'Île-de-France to sustain the economic growth of the region while capturing public amenities such as tax revenues and increased foreign currency reserves. EuroDisney's unique selling proposition and offerings have not always been successful. When the park opened in 1992, it failed to turn much of a profit. Many Europeans reacted negatively to the Disneyized and Americanized versions of traditional European folk tales such as Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and Snow White. Many Europeans also reacted negatively to the 30-minute dining habits which were exhibited throughout the restaurants, as many French visitors are accustomed to dining for 2 to 3 hours.
Disneyland Paris has had many name changes throughout the years. In 1992, the theme park opened as EuroDisney Resort and welcomed its first visitors through the doors. However, a name change occurred in 1994 when the theme park was renamed to Disneyland Paris. In 2002, a second theme park opened, Walt Disney Studio Park, and once again the name was changed, this time to Disneyland Paris Resort. In 2009, Disneyland Paris Resort reverted back to its previous name, Disneyland Paris, and so far it is stuck. So why does Disney's European theme park keep changing its name? The initial change in 1994 occurred because, unlike Americans, Europeans don't view the word Euro as luxurious or for leisure, but rather for business or commerce. The name changes since can be attributed to marketing and rebranding decisions by the company. Disneyland Paris has also marketed itself by offering a direct travel service to the park via the Eurostar. This allowed Disneyland Paris to be marketed as easily accessible and provided a platform for visitors from London to visit the park. The Walt Disney Studios in France has since modified their marketing strategy in order to cater for the European customer. Attractions were introduced which capture the history and culture of French filmmaking. In addition to this, there is now a stunt show featuring cars and motorcycles that race through a village modelled after the French resort town of Saint-Tropez.
Disneyland Paris has changed their unique selling propositions to ensure that the European tastes and desires are adapted into every part of the park design. At the Disneyland Paris, there is a big Alice Wonderland presence because the Imagineers of Disneyland knew that a lot of British guests would love to visit.
The French are catered for with an area themed to the cartoon vision of Paris found in the Oscar-winning movie Ratatouille. This film follows the story of a French rat whom dreams to be a chef and is very fitting for the Paris entertainment landscape. Likewise, the science-themed Discoveryland in Paris is inspired by the novels of Jules Verne and presents a Victorian vision of the future. Chief Operating Officer of Disneyland Paris, Zhou, concedes that it is important to feature local places and characters that people know and have an affinity with. As a result, Disneyland Paris has encouraged a greater focus on European characters from the Hunchback of Notre Dame to the Scottish cartoon Brave. Realizing their issues, EuroDisney began to realign and transition their park to make sure that it aligned with the French cultures and customs. They did this by changing from a globalization strategy to a localization strategy. One particular way that they implemented this action was by changing their Splash Mountain attraction ride. In Disneyland California, this ride is a toboggan style and riders are seated behind each other on a log. However, EuroDisney analyzed that the French visitors actually preferred to be seated side by side on attractions. So EuroDisney changed this ride to make sure that they were seated side by side.
According to Matsowitz, the four major localizing changes that made Disneyland Paris more successful were cutting the price, turning shows and settings into French style, change of food menus and eating habits, and change of employee customs and labour policies. This change in thinking has led to the Walt Disney Company being one of the world's leading providers of entertainment, which excels in being a diversified international family entertainment company. After a rocky start, the Disneyland Paris Resort managed to consolidate itself as a premier tourist attraction in Europe. Using sophisticated marketing and effective manipulation of the marketing mix, the theme park broadened its target market, effectively appealing to a larger demographic. Partnering with other institutions allowed Disney to reinforce its own appeal, while expanding its own advertising through the offer of other attractions.
Introduced in 2004, Disney offered attractions such as the Manchester United Soccer School for children aged between 7 and 14, Aquarium at Val d'Europe, La Vallée outlet shopping, themed family-oriented hotels, and Hertz car hire at the resort. These new attractions allowed for variations to the product, which encouraged visitors who had already been to return and see what new was on offer. Disney continued adding attractions every year to encourage return customers, and in turn, the park appeared fresh and exciting on every visit. Attractive pricing was also a key staple in Disney's bid to attract more customers. Accommodation and park entry packages range from £108 to £698 per adult, whilst prices for similar packages at non-Disney resorts range from £102 to £782. This positioned parents to view the resort as an affordable family holiday.
To promote the resort and entice potential customers, Disney relied on a range of promotional techniques, from traditional TV and print advertising to directly selling to group organisers and travel agents.